Alright, so today we're going to be replacing this coolant expansion tank on my 2002 Mini Cooper S. This is going to be like the fourth expansion tank. If you have a Mini, you probably know that Minis, as well as most BMWs, have a problem with the leaking expansion tank, and you can probably see that leak over on that side. I'd like to tell you that the other three were changed by me. But actually I'm poor now, so I gotta try and do it myself, and I have absolutely no skill and have never done this before. So let's get to it. Alright, first thing you'll need, of course, is a new expansion tank. And if you've been to the dealer, you know this thing costs an arm and a leg. Here's the part number, so you can get that. I'm in Hawaii, so I got my part from Hawaii Import Parts, and it saved me about $40 from what the dealer would have been. Alright, next we'll be doing the swap. By the way, we have no instructions, so we've never actually done this before. We're just trying to MacGyver it, and hopefully it works. But what I figured we'll do is we'll take this turkey baster, suction out any extra fluid there is in there. The people who normally work on my car said it shouldn't be too difficult to do, but Minis do not have a purge valve for your radiator fluid, so there's no way to purge and make sure it's full, so you just gotta kind of wing it. Alright, so let's start by sucking out some of this fluid. We go in there and we're gonna take out the fluid, and we'll get started with the swap after that. So we've covered the surrounding area with some old rags we had, just in case there's any leak, because I'm kind of a clean kind of person. And we're going to be using a socket as well as that plier type tool in order to do the disassembly. Let's hope we got no problems. Alright, so now we got the fending part. Couple things to note, the hoses weren't all that easy to take off. Gotta make sure the clamps are past the bubble, and that bottom hose may be a little fused onto your expansion tank and may need a little bit of positive encouragement to come off, but we do have it off. These two dimples over here, this one comes off easy. This one is locked in by this top part right over here, so you gotta kind of lift and pull towards the passenger side in order to get some working space. But that's how we got it out, so let's hope the new one goes in the same way it came out. Alrighty. Oh, probably now would be a good time to clean some of the area around there, if you're a neat freak like me. Okay. Alright, couple things to note. We got the new expansion tank in. The hoses went back on. Everything fit like it should. When we put the expansion tank on, we did leave the top off, and the reason why is because there's no purge valve for the coolant system. I wanted to make sure I didn't create any pressure or any type of pressure bubble, and I thought leaving the top on might create a bubble when I force that thing down. So next thing is to fill it with coolant to the line where it should be. Start it up. According to the repair shop, they said start it up, turn on the heater, let it run till it's hot, check if there's leaks, check if it starts to overheat. If it does start to overheat, turn it off right away. You don't want to ruin your heads, of course. But you may need to put a little extra fluid in, they said afterwards. But we'll give it a test now. We're going to fill it up, and probably next time you'll see we'll give you a recap. Alrighty. Alrighty, so now we have the new tank in. We have coolant in there. It's on currently. I don't see any leaks from any of the hoses. That's probably, no leaks is probably a good thing. So the guys at the repair shop said to let it run till the car gets hot. I have the heater on full blast inside, just to make sure that it does not climb past the acceptable zone and kind of just stops when it's warm in the area it should be. And if all that works out really well, then actually we would have done it. kind of like a no skills kind of thing. But knowing my luck. Well, I'll tell you what, it would have saved, because the dealer was going to charge me $300 because the tank itself was $120 in the dealer, and a couple hours labor. All in real time, this video probably took to half an hour, and that was walking it back and forth, getting tools and coolant and all of those kinds of things. So they're going to charge me like 2 hours labor. The repair shop that said I should attempt it myself because it's not too difficult, they said it would have cost probably about $200, a little over $200 for them to do. So if this works out like it should, it should be a relatively inexpensive fix at about $75. Well, $70 plus tax. Relatively inexpensive fix at about $70 plus tax. Kind of do-it-yourself thing. For something that happens to minis, as you know, all the time. So anyway, next step, we'll see how it goes. Keep it running for about 10 minutes and let the car get warmed up. Alrighty. See you soon. Let's come back after that. Alright, so as you can see, we changed it. We did the testing. Everything seems to be good. Nothing crazy as far as the temperature is concerned. I turned the heater back down. Anyway, everything looks like it worked out pretty good. All in all, for somebody who doesn't do any mechanics, and rest assured, I am not a mechanic. I haven't done anything like this before. And, you know, it seems that it works. So, if you want to save yourself some money, I think this replacement, like I said, should take you about a half an hour, and it's relatively straightforward. So again, make sure you have something to press the clamps for the hose. Of course, buy an expansion tank. You'll need a 10mm socket, and that socket is for that bracket right on the top. That was 10mm, by the way. So 10mm socket, a pliers just to clamp the hose, expansion tank. Oh, and don't forget, make sure you have some coolant, because it'd be kind of a waste to change it in and find out you can't get to the store to get some coolant. That didn't happen to me, but it could have. Anyway, if you're watching my video, thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps you with your Mini down the road. Aloha.